Hi you guys, so today I'd like to go over the book of Ecclesiastes. At this time, if you want to pause this video to get something to eat or drink, or to even get something to write with, be my guest and meet us back here. And at this time, without further ado, we're going to proceed into the book of Ecclesiastes, starting with chapter 1 verse 1. And it's speaking of vanities, and basically it's talking about what is the meaning of life, what is the meaning of all our toiling in this life, and we're gonna find out what that is as we go through these verses. So verse 1, the words of the preacher, the son of David, king in Jerusalem. This is Solomon, the wisest man on earth. He says, vanity of vanities, saith the preacher. Vanity of vanities, all is vanity. What profit hath a man of all his labor which he taketh under the sun? What is worth all this working and toiling every day under the sun? One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever. The sun also ariseth, and the sun goeth down, and hasteth to his place where he arose. The wind goeth toward the south, and turneth about unto the north. It whirleth about continually, and the wind returneth again according to his circuits. Like we're seeing the cycles of life here. Verse 7, all the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. Unto the place from whence the rivers come, thither they return again. Once again, cycles of life. All things are full of labor. Man cannot utter it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. How many of us get so consumed with television that we can't even turn it off at night? We have to actually have the television on to go to sleep. Or we get so addicted to our favorite song that we listen to it over and over and over. Or watch certain movies over and over and over. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, and the ear not satisfied with hearing. We just don't know how to be at peace and to quiet ourselves and to just enjoy nature. Some people, that it's hard for them to just be in a peaceful, quiet space. They have to have noise or something visual to entertain them. Going on to verse 9. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Like we think something is new, the clothes that our parents wore has come back around again, and it's called retro. And so the thing which hath been done is that which shall be done again. Verse 10. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It hath been already of old time, which was before us. There is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. So basically, the things that are past, whether we remember it or not, it is set to repeat itself. Verse 12, I the preacher was king over Israel in Jerusalem, and I gave my heart to seek and search out by wisdom concerning all things that are done under heaven. This sore travail hath God given to the sons of man to be exercised therewith. This sore trial of life hath God given to the sons of man to be exercised with. We ought to work out our life with fear and trembling before the Lord. And basically it is saying we have to we're going to go through struggles in this life, and he's trying to see, what is it all worth? Verse 14, I have seen all the works that are done under the sun, and behold, all is vanity and vexation of spirit. That which is crooked cannot be made straight, and that which is wanting cannot be numbered. I communed with mine own heart, saying, Lo, I am come to great estate, and have gotten more wisdom than all they that have been before me in Jerusalem. Yea, my heart had great experience of wisdom and knowledge. So he's kind of like very proud of himself. He's like, hey, he's gotten more than anybody that has come before him. And he said that all they that have been before him in Jerusalem, he had gotten more than them. And his heart had great experience of wisdom and knowledge. And let's see what he thinks about all this. And I gave my heart to know wisdom, and to know madness and folly. I perceive that this also is vexation of spirit. For in much wisdom is much grief. And he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. And this is like someone who's lived a privileged life. They have everything at their fingertips. Yet the more they learn about life, it grieves them because of the pains that other people go through. Sometimes when we watch what third world countries go through, and the droughts that they have, and how they suffer, and we see the starvation, the rib cages of people, it can bring grief to us. Sometimes when we see how some of these major companies have destroyed the ocean and have destroyed a lot of the wildlife, we see how these merchants have destroyed this world because of greed and capitalism. And we think just how much better the world could have been had there not been so much greed and capitalism and competition where they don't need to be. A lot of contention and strife where they don't need to be. And he says, so the more he increased in wisdom, it brought him grief. The more he increased in knowledge, it brought him sorrow. Verse 2. I said in mine heart, Go to now, I will prove thee with mirth. Therefore enjoy pleasure. And behold, this also is vanity. He's going to prove himself with money. He's going to try to buy happiness with money. And he decided that this also is vanity. I said of laughter, it is mad, and of mirth, what doeth it? I sought in my heart to give myself unto wine, yet acquainted mine heart with wisdom, and to lay hold on folly, till I might see what was that good for the sons of men, which they should do under the heaven all the days of their life. He sought in his heart to know wisdom while under the influence of wine. How many of us think that we're wiser when we drink wine? And it's only because we're not really, sorry about that, we're not really fully in tune to what's really going on around us, but we think we are because we're under the influence of the wine. And it says he's going to lay hold on folly till he might see what was that good for the sons of men. He's going to tackle folly. He's going to ponder it. He's going to think on it and see what was that good for the sons of men. Like, what is our life worth? What is all this toiling in life worth? Where is it going to get us? Going into verse 4 and see what he came up with. I made me great works. I builded me houses. I planted me vineyards. I made me gardens and orchards, and planted trees in them of all kinds of fruit. I made me pools of water to water therewith the wood that bringeth forth trees. I got me servants and maidens, and had servants born in mine house. Also, I had great possessions of great and small cattle, above all that were in Jerusalem before me. So basically, he had everything that he could ask for. He had everything you could think of. You know, it's like today, people have mansions. He had a palace, but you know, today people have mansions, and they have cars of all exotic exotic cars of all types. They can go to any restaurant. They can fly to any country at will. So he's basically saying, he had the good life. Verse 8, I gathered me also silver and gold, and the peculiar treasure of kings and of the provinces. I got me men singers and women singers. He had entertainers. And the delights of the sons of men, as musical instruments and that of all sorts. So he basically, like the movie industry, like he had it all. He didn't have to go out to a movie theater. It was brought to him. He didn't have to go out to a concert. The concert was brought to him. Everything was right at his fingertips. Verse 9. So I was great and increased more than all that were before me in Jerusalem. Also my wisdom remained with me. He was great. He was powerful. Verse 10. And whatsoever mine eyes desired, I kept not from them. I withheld not my heart from any joy, for my heart rejoiced in all my labor. And this was my portion of all my labor. Then I looked on all the works that my hands had wrought, and on all the labor that I had labored to do. And behold, all was vanity and vexation of spirit, and there was no profit under the sun. Verse 12. He felt empty. There's some people who just, they build and build and build to get wealthy and to get rich. They compete with who's more rich, and compare their millions or billions to someone else's millions and billions. And he found that and he's asking, what profiteth it? There was no profit under the sun. He was empty. Verse 12. And I turned myself to behold wisdom and madness and folly. But what can the man do that cometh after the king? Even that which hath been already done. So, what can man do that has less than him or that comes after him? Even that which hath been already done. He says, who can do better than him? Who can do better than what he had? Verse 13. Then I saw that wisdom excelleth folly, as far as light excelleth darkness. Wisdom cancels out folly. It excelleth folly. It proceedeth folly. It goes beyond folly. And light excelleth darkness. Light canceleth out the darkness. It expels the darkness. Verse 14. The wise man's eyes are in his head, but the fool walketh in darkness. And I myself perceiveth also that one event happeneth to them all. Then said I in my heart, as it happeneth to the fool, so it happeneth even to me. And why was I then more wise? Then I said in my heart, that this also is vanity. So basically, everyone's going to die one day. And he's saying, as it happeneth to the wise person, it also happeneth to the fool. We're all going to die. Our flesh is going to die at some point, even though our soul carries on. Verse 16. For there is no remembrance of the wise more than of the fool forever. Nobody is remembered forever. And no matter how great they were, no matter how famous they were, eventually their name is going to be forgotten. It doesn't matter if they won all sorts of awards, even the Oscars. At some point, if you ask a date, throw out a date and say who won the Oscars on this year, most people won't remember. So verse 16, For there is no remembrance of the wise more than of the fool forever, seeing that which now is in the days to come shall all be forgotten. And how dieth the wise man as the fool? Verse 17, therefore I hated life, because the work that is wrought under the sun is grievous unto me. For all is vanity and vexation of spirit. He hated life. Now, how many rich people, they hate their lives even more after becoming rich, because of all the work that they had done under the sun to get rich, only to know that at the end of their life they're going to have to die too. And there are so many rich people trying to find ways to live forever, and it doesn't matter. They're still going to die at one point. So it says, therefore he hated life, because the work that he did under the sun is grievous unto him now. All of his work, all of his toiling is now grievous to him. And he says all is vanity and vexation of spirit. Verse 18, yea, I hated all my labor which I had taken under the sun, because I shall leave it unto the man that shall be after me. And who knoweth whether he shall be a wise man or a fool? Yet shall he have rule over all my labor wherein I have labored, and wherein I have shewed myself wise under the sun. This is also vanity. So he's saying he used wisdom in building his wealth. He used wisdom in building his palace. He used wisdom in the cases that came before him. Like the case where the two women had born a baby around the same time, and one baby died in the mother's arm, and the other woman tried to say, the other woman switched the dead baby for the live baby. And Solomon, he came up with a wise choice, and he says, you know what, let's go ahead and let's cut this live baby in half and give one part to one mother and one part to the other mother. And the woman whose baby it truly was said, you know, don't do that, just give it to the other woman, that the baby may live. And Solomon knew right away who the real mother was, and everybody saw Solomon's wisdom. But so he's saying he built his kingdom on wisdom. Yet who knoweth what this man is going to be like who comes after him to take rule over his kingdom that he toiled and struggled to build. And this is what a lot of rich people hate. They hate that ideal when they come to the end of their lives. What are their children going to do with this inheritance that they're leaving? How are their children going to respect it? And their children didn't toil and work to build this wealth. And they're just going to, you know, they fear that their children are going to squander the wealth that they've left, the inheritance that they've left their children. And so going back to verse 19, and who knoweth whether he shall be a wise man or a fool? Yet shall he have rule over all my labor wherein I have labored, and wherein I have showed myself wise under the sun. This is also vanity. Therefore, Solomon says, I went about to cause my heart to despair of all the labor which I took under the sun. He was upset about all the work that he had done. For there is a wise man whose labor is in wisdom, and in knowledge, and in equity. Yet to a man that hath not labored therein shall he leave it for his portion. This also is vanity and a great evil. And this is going back to wealthy people who leave their inheritance to their children, and they're like, it's vexing them because it's like, is their children going to ruin this inheritance? Are they going to just squander it away? Verse 22. For what hath man of all his labor? and of the vexation of his heart, wherein he hath labored under the sun. For all his days are sorrows, and his travail grief. Yea, his heart taketh no rest, not rest in the night. This is also vanity. There are some people who just work and work, and they're so tired, they're too tired to even sleep. Just working after money, slaving after money. And he says, this is also vanity. Verse 24. There is nothing better for a man than that he should eat and drink, and that he should make his soul enjoy good in his labor. This also I saw, that it was from the hand of God. And so this is something that any person can do, whether they're rich or whether they're just working paycheck to paycheck. That they should eat and drink, and that they should make their soul enjoy good in their labor. Just enjoy the good of your labor. But you don't have to go overboard. So you don't have to be wealthy to enjoy life. And you can enjoy life just living within your means. Sometimes some of the people who have the most joy are some of the poorest people in the world. They're poor financially, but they're rich in love. They're rich in a community. They're rich in their family. Like their family is more intact. Nobody is fighting over money. Nobody cares about materialism because they don't have enough money for it. So the true values of life they have over someone who's materialistic. So going back over that, there is nothing better for a man than that he should eat and drink, and that he should make his soul enjoy good in his labor. This also I saw, that it was from the hand of God. But who can eat, or who else can hasten hereunto more than I? Who can enjoy more food more than he? For who can eat, or who else can hasten hereunto? Who else can go to and fro and travel the world over more than Solomon can? He had ships, he had camels, he had horses. He could go wherever he wanted, whenever he wanted. Verse 26, the last verse. For God giveth to a man that is good in his sight wisdom. For God giveth to a man that is good in his sight wisdom and knowledge and joy. But to the sinner he giveth travail, to gather and to heap up, that he may give to him that is good before God. This also is vanity and vexation of spirit. So he is saying here, to the one who is wise, who lives his life after God, good is given to him. Wisdom and knowledge and joy is given to him. But to the sinner who travaileth in life to make all their wealth, after they've built their wealth and heaped it up, God giveth his wealth to him that is good. So God giveth the wealth of the sinners over to the saints, is what he's saying. And somehow Solomon said, this is vanity and vexation of spirit, that someone who's lost and someone who has worked all their life to build up their wealth, but they're sinners, that now God turns around and gives all this wealth that they built up to the saints. And Solomon saw that as vexation of spirit. He felt some kind of way about that. That the saints who spend who didn't build up this wealth should receive the wealth of the sinners. But that is how God operates, because he's like, he wants us to learn the true meaning of life. It's not in toiling after money. It's not in trying to entertain ourselves. It's not in trying to get as much merchants as we can get. You know, it's not about the fancy clothes and the fancy purses and shoes. Not about how far we can travel, or how much we can travel, or how much prestige we have in this world. He says the only true joy is knowing God, and just enjoying in your labor and eating and being merry, not worrying about all this material stuff. And you don't have to be rich to enjoy life. That is what these 2 chapters was going over. So I thank you for your time. I didn't mean for this to go so long. And you all have a blessed day.